obviously, if NBA stuff pops up, we'll talk about it. But I wanted to kind of send off the NBA as a major topic with a idea and a topic that I saw on social media. Again, I don't know and I don't remember who originated this. I apologize. I can see their podcast, but I don't remember their names. I follow them, so but I think I saw it on their podcast first. If I remember the name, I will definitely. In fact, I'm going to look up the name because I don't. I want to give them the credit that they're due. But they came up with a topic. The topic was if every player was in their prime, the deep three. Shout out to you guys, the deep three. That's where I got this topic. If they got it from somebody else, I don't know, but I got it from the Deep Three podcast. The question was presented: if every player in the NBA was in their prime, every single player, a singular prime season, what would be the ranking? And hold up, did I just see something? Whew. I thought I just saw something crazy. Okay. I'm sorry. If every player was at their peak of peak season, what would be the ranking? And I wanted to do that. Who would be in the top 10? I wanted to do that as kind of a send off to the NBA. Again, I know that the season's already over. I know training camp starts in about 2 months. I know the rookies and everybody is there. But, yeah. Now, before I give this list, I want to preference it by saying that when I consider peak, I'm looking at a singular season. I'm not looking at necessarily their peak stretch, because in that case, it would be one and then a bunch. It would be tough. But I'm looking at it. You know what? And I'm going to contradict myself. It's not just going to be a season, but maybe a season or two. No more than 2 or 3 seasons. No more than 3 seasons. But when they were at their peak, where would they rank today if that's who they were? I think it's easier for me to start this list from 1 to 10 because that's just what it is. At number 1, I have LeBron James. Now, I have been a staunch believer that the 2018 LeBron James was the best LeBron James you've ever seen. I have since probably changed my mind because I would always say the reason why 2018 LeBron James was the best LeBron James ever is because of IQ. And I felt he was at his peak IQ-wise in 2018. But then I thought to myself, and I listened to a lot of people talk, and I'm like, yeah, you make some good points. LeBron James wasn't dumb. LeBron James didn't have low IQ when he was in Miami. And then on top of that, he was at the peak of his athleticism, the peak of his strength. Miami LeBron James was, when we talk about the greatest player of all time, and a lot of people bring up LeBron James, most of their argument comes from, and rightfully so, most of their argument comes from that Miami LeBron James run. I don't know if we've seen a player better than that. So number 1 is LeBron James. And again, these are current players. So I can't just throw out Michael Jordan. These are current players. If they were in their peak, where would they rank currently? Number 2 is where I saw some pushback. Number 2 is, to me, number 2 is clear. But I know a lot of people, they put, someone like Nikola Jokic. They put someone like KD, which I understand. But to me, it is clear cut that number 2 has to be Steph Curry. If you want to look at one singular season, look at 2016. The man led a team to 73 wins in the regular season. He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, 90, and was the steals leader. Unheard of. That's Steph Curry. Along with the 2000, in fact, from 2015 to 2017, that Steph Curry was one of the main. That kind of is when the talking point started matriculating as to, is he better than, or is he the best point guard of all time? I think that for me it was solidified at the Olympics this year, but that's where the conversation started. And that Steph Curry was different, man. I'm sorry. I know I'm a Steph fan, but who else? Who? Like, when you watch that, how, you know, how get like that? He was also, I know he had Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, but he also was one of the key parts of the best defense and one of the best teams we've ever seen. I think that 2017 Golden State Warriors that had KD and stuff, that's the greatest team I think we've ever seen. And honestly, if everyone was healthy, I think you can argue that 2019 team that had DeMarcus Cousins is up there too. But a lot of that just because of Steph Curry. So I have Steph Curry at number 2. I think it's clear-cut number 1 and number 2 for me is LeBron and Steph. And number 3, I know a lot of people, and I'm number 3. I have KD. That 2014? That 2014, I believe KD. Look, I know people want to, throw the whole snake thing out there. I know people want to disagree with his decision to leave Oklahoma City Thunder. But when you just look at that MVP year as well as the year after, there was a good point where people were arguing at the time, maybe not all time, but at the time, that Kevin Durant was the best player in basketball. It, for the longest, has always been KD or LeBron. Now, obviously, LeBron won that argument most times, but when we talk about who was number 2, usually it was KD until Steph Curry really started emerging. And for that, I have to put KD at number 3. Even with Russell Westbrook, even with how that's the thing too, man. I know that KD only has 2 rings, both with the Golden State Warriors, and he's played with some Hall of Fame teammates like a Kyrie Irving, like a James Harden, like a Russell Westbrook, like a Devin Booker. Even through all, and I know he, in Brooklyn he didn't win. In Oklahoma City he blew a 3-1 lead. I get it, cool. But KD is damn near a 50, 40, 90 player for his career. He's just a few percentage points off of, I think, the 50 or the 40 and the 90. KD, it's no question that he is one of the greatest offensive weapons, if not the most, the greatest offensive weapon we've ever seen. And that, I believe it was 2014 when he won the MVP. That year was different. So I have KD at number 3. Number 4, and this is where the argument came in, because a lot of people had my number 4 at number 3, and that's Nikola Jokic. There's a difference between best and dominant. I think that's what people have to understand. There's a difference between best and most dominant. Just because you're the best at something doesn't necessarily mean that you're the most dominant. And it's also not a disrespect to say that, oh, well, you're the best, but you're not the most dominant. For instance, you can argue that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the best center of all time. I don't think that there's an argument that Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant player of his time. I think that Nikola Jokic is already a top 10 center of all time. I also think that he is the most offensive gifted center of all time. I think that was for the longest, it was just Hakeem Olajuwon, but I feel that Nikola Jokic, especially when you talk about the passing and the court vision, is better offensively than Hakeem Olajuwon. And I don't remember. I think it was the man is a 3-time MVP. Let me say that, and probably should be a 4-time. But I think his first or second MVP, the one that yeah. The fact that year after year a center is in conversation with leading the league in assist is something I don't think we will ever see again. I know that people keep saying someone like Alfred Şengün is baby Jokic. No, he is not. And no offense to Alfred Şengün, he's a great player, but there's just like there's one Steph, just like there's one Bron, just like there's one KD, because people always say, oh, Brandon Ingram's a poor man's KD or Trae Young's a poor man's Steph. No, they're not. Not even close. No one is going to. There's not going to be another Nikola Jokic. And I believe it was the second MVP. That's when he was just like, he was on another level. Nikola Jokic, there's a reason why when we talk about the best players in the league right now, like in their current form, it's clear cut who the best player is. I know that there's an argument between 2 and down, but number one is usually, and it is, Nikola Jokic. So I have Nikola Jokic at number 4. Number 5, I have Giannis. Giannis is now there you go. Best, most dominant. I think that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league right now. I don't know if there's a player more dominant than Giannis Antetokounmpo, especially. Was it 2021 when they won the championship against the Suns? I think that's also the same year where he not only won the MVP but won the Defensive Player of the Year. I know that people want to like, oh, all he do is go north and south and he travels all the time and he ain't got no bag. Okay, well, what he does have is the ability to get to the rim damn near effortlessly. And he's also one of the best defensive players in the league. Yeah. Giannis, he's unstoppable. When he gets a full head of steam, he's unstoppable. You know, I was talking about people that watch basketball, people that watch sports, they'll understand it. It's like there's different ways to get to 30 points. I'll say that. When I look at someone like KD, to me, it's the most effortless 30 points you'll see. Like, there's been so many times that you'll watch the game and you'll think to yourself, damn, I don't even think KD's having really a good game. Like, I don't remember any of his buckets. Then you'll look up at the scoreboard and this man has 32 and only missed 5 shots. And then you'll sit to yourself and like, when the hell did he score 12 buckets? Like that, the most effortless 30 you've ever seen. And I'm not saying that that's like the way to go, but Giannis has the loudest 30 that you would see. Dunks, lay, acro- layups where your whole hand is above the rim. It it's just a different approach. Both KD and Giannis score much differently than Steph Curry. Steph Curry is going to do most of his damage from the 3 point line, which is, I mean, obvious. He's the greatest 3 point shooter of all time. I said that to say, Giannis is one of the loudest, most dominant players in the league. And in 2021, I believe, that is the year where he was at the peak of his powers. You won a championship. You won Defensive Player of the Year. You won. I believe you. He also. I think that's the year he also won MVP. And yeah, I have Giannis at number 5. Number 6, I have James Harden. Look, I agree that the what you do in the regular season has to carry over to the playoffs. I agree with the fact of I think James Harden's quote unquote legacy does take a hit every single time he doesn't perform in the playoffs. I think that James Harden's legacy is a very complicated one. And the reason why I think it's a complicated one because James Harden is one of the best players to ever touch a basketball court, especially when we talk offensively. He is a top 5. uh, I'm he's a top 4 shooting guard of all time. I think and this is someone that's an Allen Iverson fan. I know Allen Iverson led a team, led the Sixers to the championship, or NBA Finals. They didn't win, but I think it's MJ number 1. I think it's Kobe number 2, D Wade number 3, and I have James Harden number 4. Yo, James Harden. I think it was 2016. James Harden. No. Okay, let's so 2014 I believe was Kevin Durant. 2015 was Steph. 2016 was Steph. 2017 was Russell Westbrook. 2018 James Harden was. I don't know if we've seen a season like that yet. And we'll talk about the next person in a second, but bro, putting up 60-point triple doubles, 50-point triple doubles. I understand that the team that he had was kind of catered to his offensive style, but that was one of the greatest offensive seasons from a player we've ever seen. Obviously, the difference is didn't happen in the playoffs, but the regular season. James Harden, James Harden was Houston Rockets. James Harden is one of the main reasons. 2018 James Harden is one of the main reasons he found himself on the All NBA 75 list. That was one of the most magical seasons we have ever seen, especially offensively. Defensively, I mean, hey, but yeah. But that James Harden, I think there was a stretch where he had like multiple consecutive 30-point games, and it was a yeah. I remember they did that for Kobe too. I think Kobe had like a 4-game stretch where he had 50 every game or something like that. James Harden was damn close. And that's why I have him at number 6. Number 7, look, I can't talk about James Harden having one of the greatest offensive seasons we've ever seen and not have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander close. I have Shea at number 7. Bruh, the season we just saw Shea have was arguably the greatest offensive season we had, to lead the league in scoring. So you won the scoring title, you won the MVP, you won the Eastern Conference Player of the Year. I mean, no, Eastern Conference MVP, or no, Western. I'm sorry, Western Conference MVP. You won the NBA Finals, and you won the Finals MVP. This season, look, you can say what you want about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can talk about how he's a quote-unquote foul merchant. You can talk about the fact that, you may not like the style of his game. Cool. That does not take away from the fact that we just saw him have arguably one of the greatest offensive seasons and definitely accolade accumulated seasons we've ever seen. And the thing that I love about it the most is, people that call it foul baiting, they don't know. I don't think they understand what they're looking at, because, and I think that he just understands how to manipulate the game to his benefit. And for people that hate that, it's just like, isn't that the goal? Isn't it? The goal is to make the game as easy as possible for yourself, which also accumulates in wins. Well, isn't that what Shai Gilgeous is doing? So what are we talking about? I have him at number 7 because, again, what he did last season was one for the record books. One of the greatest seasons from an individual player we've ever seen. At number 8, I have Luka Doncic. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Jay, how do you have Luka at number 8 and you're leaving off some MVPs? True, and we'll talk about those MVPs in a second. But I think Luka, the fact that in a 2-year span, he led a Dallas Mavericks team who, might I add, if you look at the construction of those rosters, they should not have been where they ended up. But he led 2 teams to a Western Conference Finals and, because they lost to Golden State, and an NBA Finals. On top of that, he is one of the best offensive players we've ever seen. Even at he's still early into his career, but what Luka does with his size, his scoring ability. No, he don't play a lick of defense, but he well makes up for it on the offensive side of the ball. Luka, yeah. You know what? I'm going to take myself to court for a second. Judge, here's the argument. So I put Luka at number 7. I'm sorry, at number 8. At number 9, I had Kawhi Leonard. And I'm listening, and I'm thinking about 2019 Kawhi Leonard. Hell, you can even go back to 2017 Kawhi Leonard before the Zaza Pachulia situation happened. He had the Spurs rolling. I think the court is asking me, and my brain and my mind is asking me, why not put Kawhi over Luka? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to come up with an answer. And I can't. So I think that I have overruled myself. I think number 8. I'm doing it. I'm changing on real time. And number 8, I'm putting Kawhi Leonard. I understand that injuries have played a part and played a major part in his career. And it also has played a major part of people forgetting who we're talking about. People forgetting just how good Kawhi Leonard has been in his career. I am going to say it, and I've said it before, and this is no disrespect. This is just my personal opinion. I feel Kawhi Leonard is one of the greatest two-way players we have ever seen. I would pick Kawhi Leonard over Scottie Pippen. I know Scottie Pippen was great with Michael Jordan. I know Scottie Pippen was great without Michael Jordan. I would pick Kawhi Leonard over Scottie. And I think that since we said no more than 3 years, you can look at 2017 to 2019. Obviously, his last full year in with the Spurs, and then the 1 year in Toronto when he led the team. Yes, I understand that injuries played a huge part, and I think that if Golden State was fully healthy, they wouldn't have won a championship. But that's not what happened. You lead a team, not just a regular. You lead a team to one of the best defensive teams we've ever seen, and you lead them to a championship. As great as Luka has been, he has never been able to. He led them to the finals. He hasn't led a team to a championship. Kawhi Leonard has led a team to the championship, and he's been the best player on a championship team that had Tim Duncan, that had Tony Parker, that had Manu Ginobili. He won Finals MVP when they were all still there. In that 2019, hell, even 2000, I will say 2019 more because that's the year when you really saw him pass the ball more. Like Kawhi Leonard has never really. It's crazy the story of Kawhi Leonard's career. Going into the league, he was just a D player. And I mean D as far as defense. He wasn't even 3 and D. He couldn't really score at all. So to go from that to be one of the best scorers in the league and one of the best defenders, and then in 2019, that's when he started distributing. He started passing the ball more to Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, and Kyle Lowry was on that team. Norman Powell was on that team. You also had Danny Green on that team. You also had Marc Gasol on that team. Serge Ibaka was on that team. Kawhi Leonard in 2019 was different. So I'm going to put Kawhi Leonard at number 7 and at number 8 and drop Luka to number 9. Everything I just talked about Luka remains the same. Now you have number 10. There's a lot of angles you can go. You can go with Joel Embiid. Certainly is one of the best centers we've seen, especially when healthy and offensively. He got it going. Defensively, he's great too. You can go with Chris Paul. I mean, when he's all said and done, I think Chris Paul will go down as a top 8 point guard of all time. Some can argue top 5. Then you have Russell Westbrook. And this has been, I think 10 was the hardest one for me, which is why I wanted to start at 1 and go to 10. Because you have Damian Lillard you can put. Damian Lillard, his prime in Portland was different. You can put Paul George. I know Paul George is the butt of everyone's joke, but Paul George in Indiana was leading that team to Eastern Conference Finals up against the Miami Heat. He led a Kawhi Leonard-less team in the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals. as great as all of them are, I really hate how we devalued the triple double. I really hate how it's become a talking point of, oh, well, it's just a triple double. Like, you know how many rebounds Russell Westbrook was gifted? I can tell you it wasn't 10. I have to put Russell Westbrook. 2017 Russell Westbrook, I understand that, didn't make a deep playoff run or whatever, and he didn't really have playoff success. But Russell Westbrook is a acquired taste, you can say. Pause. Whoa. But the way that he plays is different. And the fact of, I think he's had 4 seasons where he finished averaging a triple-double. 4 of them. I think the last one was with Washington. Like, I can't take that away from Russ. Russ is different. And as great as Joel Embiid was, as great as Chris Paul was, as great as Paul George, Damian Lillard, I don't think that there was a singular peak better than 2000 out of those players. I don't think there was a singular peak better than 2016 Russell Westbrook. Averaged a triple double, a hefty triple double too. I think it was like a 30-point triple double he averaged, and then proceeded to do that 3 more times, 2 or 3 more times. Yeah, I have to put Russell Westbrook at my top 10.
Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.